Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another FPL Harry live stream. Today, of course, it is game week 26. It is wildcard week for a lot of us. I am on wildcard. Don't worry, we'll get to my wildcard team in just a moment. But yeah, nice to see you all in. Some of you may have seen from my videos, from my comments, I've not been very well the past couple of days. So we'll be taking this stream just a little bit slower, not quite as fast paced, and I won't talk quite as fast as maybe as I normally do, which is probably good for you all, because everyone always tells me that I talk a little bit too fast. But we are here nonetheless. Let me scooch a little bit. There we go, it's a bit more comfortable. Yeah, so say hello in the chat. We'll do the usual rounds of hellos before we get into the stream, before we talk about my wildcard draft as well. Thank you all, so many of you being in here already. Thank you for the support on the videos recently as well. It's all been great. So I hope you all have a fantastic weekend when it comes around, and fantastic game week as well when it comes around. So who have we got in here as well? Rory, the Flying Naga, Hassan, Jack, Aryaman, Tyler, Nithin, Stephen, Immortal, Hosan, Jay, YouTuber, Mark, Lewis, Gucci, Paul, Ben, Randall, Hutch, FPL, Kamang, Eddie, Faisal, Luke, Gregory, Sam, Cristoforo, Che, Ahmed, Ray, Ozspike, Levent, Peter, Sally, Jack. Good morning to each and every one of you. Thank you very much for joining. We've also hit 100 likes on the stream as well. So what a way to start off our Saturday morning. Saturday morning as well. So this is my team from last week. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's dive in and have a look at how my wildcard is currently set up. So this is how my wildcard team is for this week. It's very slight few changes because of the Brighton press conference that we had yesterday, where they confirmed that Estupiñán is fit and available. So he has come in the place of one of the Brentford defenders, and as a result, Raya has then taken the place of Sanchez in goal. So I've got Raya and Kepa as my two goalkeepers. Then Estupiñán has taken place in defence, along with Zinchenko and Rico Henry for this week. The double Newcastle in Trippier and Botman are still on the bench for this week. So Trippier there, Botman in there as well. Is the stream working? Sorry, everything just stopped for a second. But I think it's all fine. And then into midfield, we have Saka and Martinelli. So Martinelli's come in for Odegaard. Just with the news that Nketiah's not likely to be fit and available for this one, Martinelli plays a very, very advanced role when there's no Nketiah or Gabriel Jesus in the lineup. So at home to Bournemouth, I really like what Martinelli has the potential to do. Then we have the double Brighton. I've gone with Matoma and March, and I'm currently starting Matoma. Those are a couple that could change. I don't think I'm going to end up with McAllister, but I could end up with March potentially in my starting 11. So I could end up with March potentially in my starting 11. And then Marcus Rashford is in there, of course. And then up front, it is Haaland, it is Harry Kane, and it is Ivan Toney. The things that could change for me, I to be honest, I don't think I'm going to have time to really review this wildcard during the stream. And I'm quite happy with how it is. The goalkeepers could change, and then it's sort of that Estupiñán, Henry part that could change. I do like the Sanchez Kepa rotation quite a lot, but I don't think I'm going to do it because of how good Estupiñán is in terms of his attacking numbers. So I think I'm likely to end up going with it like this. So what are we saying in the chat? Praying the wild card pays off. You haven't moved from 250k since the World Cup break. I think there's actually going to be, when you go on Twitter, it looks like every single person is playing their wild card, but I think it'll be less than you think. And I think the gains that wildcard can get over the next few weeks is going to be worth it. So yeah. Is it too risky having so many triple ups over the next few weeks? So the reason we've done it, and the reason there are triple ups on a few teams here, of course, we've got Arsenal. Arsenal playing the blank. They have a nice fixture against Bournemouth this week, and they're the most sort of in-form and affordable team in the league at the moment, and have been for quite a long time. We have a triple up on Brentford in Tony, Henry, and David Raya. Of course, they play in the blank in Game Week 28. They double in Game Week 27, and they double in Game Week 29. So they've got 5 fixtures in the space of 2 game weeks. And then, of course, we have a triple up on Brighton as well, who have the double in Game Week 27, the double in Game Week 29, and then also likely to double in Game Week 34. And they are likely to double in Game Week 37 and another week. They will have 5 double game weeks between now and the end of the season, Brighton, which is, given that there's only 13 game weeks or so left, having a triple up on them, I think is a good way to be. Those of you asking how my team looks for Game Week 28 and noticing that I won't have a full 11. So if you look at the players in my team that have a blank in that week, I've got triple Brighton, I'll have Haaland and Rashford as well. So that will leave me with 9 players, which if I went in with 9, that's absolutely fine. I don't think that's such an issue. But I also have the ability to potentially do Haaland out. Now, some of you are going to say Haaland out is crazy, and I probably agree, but he'd go out for probably Watkins or maybe Iheanacho in 28, where both of them have a fixture. Both of them then have a double in Game Week 29, and then I'd bring him back in Game Week 30, because by that time, we're probably going to be wanting to look to sell Ivan Toney. He only needs 2 yellow cards as well, so that's the plan. That is the plan going forward. So Ivan Toney will hopefully stay unbanned for both yellow cards and for everything else until Game Week 29 is complete, and then I'll look to sell him. They do play Newcastle that week as well, so whereas I think Ollie Watkins plays Nottingham Forest as well that week. So it will make sense to do a little bit of a hokey-cokey potentially with Erling Haaland. My team value is very high as well, so I'm not that worried. So like with this team, I have 5.6 million in the bank, and I think a lot of people have replied to my video being like, how have you got so much money left in the bank? So yeah, this is where my wild card is at. So Trippier or Matoma to start. Matoma, definitely. Yeah. Good morning to all the members in the stream as well this morning. If March was to start, a few of you asking what I would do if March came into my starting 11, it would be in place of Matoma. Why not Fabian Schär over Botman? Why not Fabian Schär over Botman? Just because I don't really need them very many weeks. It's just like, I think 2 or 3 weeks between now and the end of the season that I plan on playing Botman. And with that in mind, I then don't need to invest the extra bit of money when the extra bit of money is going to come in use with my future transfer plans. My future transfer plans, for those of you asking why I've got so much money left in the bank, I will plan on doing Martinelli out and bringing in Bruno Fernandes going into Game Week 29. And that uses up a lot of that money in the bank. I also plan on doing Zinchenko out and bringing in Luke Shaw as well, which doesn't need a load of money, but there's a little bit of an upgrade there. So both of those going into Game Week 29, because if you look at Manchester United from Game Week 29, They play Brentford, Everton, Forest, Chelsea, where I might free hit. They do have a Spurs game, and then in the last few as well, it's really nice. Plus, there's going to be double game weeks in there because they're still in the FA Cup as well. Pinnock or Rico Henry. So, sorry, I know I missed your super chat. Thank you very much for the super chat, YouTuber. In terms of those two, if you look at season-long stats, Pinnock comes out on top. But if you look at like stats since the restart, it then puts Rico Henry at the top. So, yeah, it depends how you look at it. So with that in mind, I've gone with Rico Henry. Probably maybe less explosive because a centre-back goal is worth so many points. But just the assist potential over the next few, I am going to favour Rico Henry. The only other thing that I could potentially change with this lineup is Zinchenko. Just to go to Gabriel, just to have that little bit more assured starts when they've got the Europa League starting up as well, Arsenal at the moment. So I don't think there's going to be any rotation for Zinchenko, but is it worth the gamble? Is he worth it over Gabriel? Why Martinelli? I don't know if I can bring it up. Let me get SofaScore up and I will show you. So where's their 4-0 win? So here, looking at, how do I look at lineups? So if I look at Arsenal's average position, right? Martinelli is number 11. His average position when it's a Trossard, Martinelli front two is really, really good. If you look at another game, so if we go back and have a look, for example, when they drew 1-1 with Brentford and it was Nketiah up front, and have a look at the same, it's good, but it's nowhere near as central. And the heat maps in and around the box are not quite as good. So I am with the news that Nketiah, it doesn't look like Nketiah is going to start today. So anyone with Nketiah, I would be potentially looking to move him on if you're not on a wildcard this week as well. So thank you all so much for watching. 1,600 of you in here. Guys, if you have not liked and if you have not subscribed as well, please make sure to do both of those. If we could try and hit a few hundred likes on the stream, that would be fantastic as well. We are also close to also close to 47,000 subscribers as well. Mahrez or Odegaard, so I would definitely go with Odegaard. Mahrez, if we might get Manchester City early team news today. We might get that. We might get that early Manchester City team news, but either way, I'd still probably favour Odegaard just because Odegaard plays in the blank in game week 28. So having Odegaard will set you up better. So whereas Manchester City have a blank that week. So you might look to use a transfer that week, but I would just go with Odegaard. It will set you up better anyway. And just because Mahrez starts this week doesn't mean he's going to start next week necessarily. Thoughts on getting Maddison in now? Yeah, so some people are going for Maddison in this Martinelli spot. Some people are going Martinelli, some people are going Odegaard, some people are going Maddison. So there's a few potential options that people are going with in their teams at the moment. I don't mind it. Maddison plays in the blank. He doubles in 29 as well. But I suppose the issue with that strategy is then how do you go and get Bruno Fernandes in? If you're having Maddison in Martinelli's place, in order to go and get Fernandes in, you have to sell Saka. Which you can do. I don't hate the strategy. I get it. Because the run for Arsenal from game week 30, 29 they don't double. Ooh. So 29 they don't double, of course. So you could sell him and have an extra fixture then anyway. Then they play Liverpool away, West Ham away. Then, of course, they do play Southampton at home. But then it is Manchester City away, Chelsea at home, Newcastle away. So the fixtures are there if you did want to sell Saka between like 30 and 35. You could do it. I understand it. That's how it's going to work with people who are going Maddison straight away. I'm not necessarily sure if I'm that comfortable in selling Saka, if I'm completely honest. I don't think, yeah. How am I so good at FPL? I don't know. I've been quite lucky, I feel like, the past few seasons. But yeah, nice few seasons on the bounce. And if I get a good season, if I get a good season again this year, then it will help. In terms of Man City team news, it's normally these guys that tweet it, and they haven't tweeted anything already, but they don't tend to tweet it this far away from the deadline. So we can keep an eye on it, but I don't see anything at the moment. Just free hit Arsenal boys back in 32. Well, that is, a reasonable thought. But I also like having Martinelli at home to Bournemouth. I'd rather that than have Maddison this week. So I think I'm going to stick with the double Arsenal midfield. What are my thoughts about McAllister? McAllister I like as a pick. But occasionally he plays quite deep and he does rely on set pieces a lot for his potential point scoring. So I just prefer Matoma and March, I think. How have my previous FPL seasons go? So I'm going to out myself here, but let me talk you through them. So I had one bad season here where I basically refused to buy Mo Salah in his first season in the Premier League and own Sadio Mane for the whole season instead of him. And you can see what that did to me. But outside of that, I finished 10k, 14k. Last 2019-20 was okay. And then, yeah. You have one free transfer. Should I transfer Grealish out and bring Maddison, or Trent out and bring Henry or Pinnock? Grealish, again, if we get City team news and Grealish is going to start, you presumably keep him. Trent does play against Bournemouth next week, but you have the double for Brentford next week. So I probably prefer the defensive one a little bit more. Is it the same team as Raptor? I thought he was going Maddison. But he might have changed. Good morning from Tunisia. How are we doing? What do I think about Sterling as a risk? Yeah, absolutely not. I wouldn't be looking at Chelsea at all at the moment. I know I've got Kepa in goal, but that's about the only asset I would consider. And especially Reece James looks like he's not going to play today as well. He has a slight knock, slight strain, so it doesn't look like he's necessarily going to play. So I wouldn't be going Reece James. Why Martinelli over Odegaard? Just positioning without Nketiah in the team. I like Martinelli. When am I going to do my bench boost? Bench boost is probably going to be played in Game Week 29. I know a few of you have mentioned Game Week 27 potentially. And I get the Game Week 27 bench boost. The team looks nice for 27. The only thing is you get the extra fixture with the goalkeeper basically next week. I get more fixtures on my bench next week because I would have Kepa with his double and Raya with his double, whereas next week I would just have Kepa away at Leicester. So, yes. What happened to Martinelli when Jesus comes back? He'll be sharing minutes. Is this a short-term thing? Yeah, so with the way the wildcard drafts are set up, Martinelli's only going to start in my team. Bournemouth at home and Palace at home. He'll be on the bench in 27 and I'll sell him going into Game Week 29. So I only need him for those two games. And yes, he might be sharing minutes, but I think he should start. This one as well as starting this one. The only thing is, if Gabriel Jesus is back by then, and he probably should be, they do play Europa League in the midweek. Why not bench Rashford? we had this before where there was a big game and people start benching Marcus Rashford. I think it was against Man City, and people started benching Marcus Rashford, and he scored like 5 minutes in. If Manchester United are going to score, and I do expect them to score, the chances of Marcus Rashford having involvement in that, so yeah, it's gonna be him. Last week you said I'm gonna hold my hands up and apologise to Yep in the chat. Last week he came into the chat and said that Darwin Núñez was injured and wasn't gonna play, and I timed him out for it because it was the only person I'd seen anywhere saying it. So I thought he was trolling. Well, maybe you were, but he was, of course, correct. So he's owed an apology for being timed out. Thoughts on Ollie Watkins? Ollie Watkins, I like. He is on a hot run at the moment. The underlying numbers are not necessarily there for him, but the point scoring is there for him. So, yeah, I don't have room for Ollie Watkins in my front line. When I sell Haaland in Gameweek 28, if I do sell Haaland, I may end up going to Ollie Watkins. It'll be between Ollie Watkins and Iheanacho, I think, or João Felix if Chelsea somehow turn the corner. So basically, it'll be Ollie Watkins or Iheanacho, and I might go there, but I just prefer this front three for the time being. I don't like not owning a Harry Kane who's got Wolves, Forest, Southampton, Everton. Like this run, we all knew this was a good run for Harry Kane. We sold him for one double game week, and it wasn't a good idea. So Mings, Conte instead of Botman again. So the thing with Botman is there's going to be a double game week against Brighton, which falls outside of the usual doubles in 34 and 37. Maybe I should get Ben Crellin's spreadsheet up. And I'm basically just setting myself up for the future, knowing that that's going to come, because they double in game week 29. It's a difficult double for Newcastle, but it's also a difficult double for Aston Villa as well. So just all in all, I just think I'm better setting myself. Oh no. When I sneeze so many times, so you might have to bear with me for a moment. But this is the spreadsheet from Ben Crellin. So yeah, you can see Brighton here. They might double. It's predicted to go in 31 against Newcastle, but it could in theory go in any of them. But there's going to be that extra double, so I'm just basically setting myself up for that. I'm going to sneeze again. And move my camera. So that's why I'm going with the double Newcastle. Diary of Botman next couple of game weeks. It works if, well, sorry, I sneezed. I was having this debate. It's a really random one about how many times I think I sneeze in a year, and I think I'm breaking 2,000 sneezes in a year, and that's hang on. Let me explain. That probably makes it what like 6 sneezes a day. So when you break it down, it's not that bad, but I reckon I sneeze 2,000 times a year. Who would I downgrade to be able to afford Bruno and Shaw? So this team leaves 5.5 million in the bank, so you don't need to downgrade anyone. Now, if you don't have the money in the bank to do that, then potentially, yeah, like you probably would have to ditch Haaland or Kane and upgrade to like Watkins, for example, if you need the money for it. But I have the money in the bank to be able to do it. So that's the plan. That's the plan. Anyway, how set am I on Martinelli and why not Odegaard? Just the positioning without Nketiah in the lineup. So that's basically it. As I said here, if I look at the positioning in the most recent game, players' average positions, this is Martinelli, right? That number 11 is Martinelli. Crazy positioning. Crazy positioning. Rahul Rao, thank you very much for joining back as a top tier member. I think you're already in the group chat. If you are not, send me a DM on Twitter and I'll get you added to the group chat. And thank you, Marius, for joining as a base tier member. You can all start using your in-stream super chat or in-stream chat benefits already. Matoma or Salah? I probably would still start Salah. Isn't Martinelli a risk of playing less minutes? Not while Nketiah is out. So today I don't really think there's that much of a risk. The only risk comes in game week 28. But I still think he should be okay to start in that one. Still think he should be okay to actually start in that fixture. Isaac, thank you for renewing your membership again. Any members in the chat who aren't in the group chat on Twitter, just send me a DM and I'll get you added. Only decision for me this morning is Watkins versus Tony. Was going to go Watkins, but now I'm not sure. The thing is, the double next week, Ivan Toney will be the most captained player in game week 27. I'm pretty sure of it. Because there's lots of different combinations of March, Matoma, McAllister's. People might switch between them. I think Ivan Toney will be the most captain player next week. How set am I on this team? To be honest, when I'm streaming, I rarely have time, and people know when I make decisions on stream, all I do is panic. I think, to be honest, I'd be surprised if I change this lineup. To be honest, the only thing that might change it, I don't know if we get news of something, but I'd be surprised if this changes. Also, people are asking why Henry is a particular Brentford defender. So it was between Henry and Ben Mee for me. Henry and Pinnock for me, because they're the cheapest, and I might have to hold Henry for a long time, but I need the money elsewhere if I don't sell him, which is why I haven't gone with Ben Mee. The Ben Mee numbers in terms of actual attacking output, so like actual assists and actual goals, is better. But if you look at the underlying numbers, he's been fortunate to get the attacking returns he has. Henry and Pinnock are up there depending on how you cut the data. If you cut the data from the beginning of the season, then it is Pinnock that goes top. If you cut it more recently, then it's going to be Henry that goes to the top of the list. So it depends how you look at it, basically, as to who comes out on top. Just hit 2,000 live viewers. Thank you all so much for joining. If you haven't liked the stream, and if you haven't subscribed, we are trying to hit 47,000 subscribers. I do need 250 during this stream, but I'm sure there are 250 of you in here who are not subscribed already. Yeah, the pros and cons for Gabriel versus Zinchenko. So Zinchenko's baseline bonus is slightly better. His attacking threat is slightly more consistent, I would say. It's more likely to tick along. But of course, a centre-back goal, a Gabriel goal, is worth, a lot of points, because a centre-back goal will get him a lot of bonus as well. So you have that benefit to go and get Gabriel, and you don't have the risk at all of Gabriel not playing. Right, Gabriel will play both the games that you need him in. Whereas there is a small chance with Europa League that Tierney potentially starts one of the two. It's just whether we think it's worth it. Whether we think it's worth it going with Zinchenko, given that he's hauled in the past. Here. Yeah, he scored here and an assist here. So it's just whether you think that that's worth it. But good morning, Ivan. How are we doing? Zinchenko and Martinelli both slight rotation risks with Europe starting up. Yeah, so I don't see it necessarily being an issue today. I just wonder, because because they don't play until Thursday, right? Magic, thanks. Let me just up the slow mode slightly, and I'll put it in subscriber only mode just so that we can limit the chat. I'm going to buy back Shaw in game week 29. That is the plan. I have put subscriber only mode on. All you have to do is subscribe for 1 second and you can start asking questions in the chat. So I've got a lot of money in the bank, right? Yes, I do. So some of you are asking how I can afford a team with so much money in the bank. You basically, prices go up and down. So I use this website a lot of the time called Fantasy Football Fix, and prices go up and prices go down. And effectively, the more price rises you get, the more your squad will be higher in value when you go to sell them. So Kane, for example, so anyone on Wildcard, Kane, Estupinan, Zinchenko, Martinelli, Rico Henry, Bukayo Saka, Solly March, David Raya, and Ivan Toney. I'm going to have 9 rises tonight, effectively. This is predictions. They're never 100% accurate. And then Tarkowski's falling, so I miss out on the price falls as well. So, yeah, you've got to get on those price changes when you can. Matoma or March, it's so difficult. It's so difficult. I'm on both and starting Matoma this week, just because even if March is fine, you know, if he's had a slight issue that's kept him out of the cup game, I'm just going with Matoma. Why aren't I going for Madison, Sanchez and Pinnock instead of Raya, Matoma and Botman? You earned another player for game week 28. I do, but I don't really want double Brighton defence. They're not good defensively. If you look at the defensive numbers for them, not me. Sorry, 1 sec. Better touch tool. Cool. No. Okay. Yeah, so their defensive numbers are not great. Like, if we look for a Stupinan, he got 8 this week because he got subbed off. He got 7 that week because he got an attacking return. He got 6 that week because they kept a clean sheet. They kept a clean sheet against Liverpool. But generally, there's a lot of both teams to score going on. There's a lot of both teams to score going on. So I like the attack more. You can fit Maddison in a lot better if you go for the double defence. But then that means I have to pick one Brighton midfielder. I'm having difficult enough time picking 2 of them, right? I'm having a difficult enough time picking 2 of them. Benching Salah and Trent at the moment, thoughts? I mean, I probably wouldn't, but I don't know who you're starting in their place. And if you're starting, players you're happy with in their place, then fine. But I don't think I'd do it. And I don't think teams necessarily were in such a good enough place to be able to do it, but maybe you can. What are my future transfer plans? Yeah, good question. So going into game week 28, I have 9 players at the moment. I am considering selling Erling Haaland, going into that blank, and probably buying Ollie Watkins. That will give me then 2 transfers going into game week 29, where I plan on selling Martinelli, and I plan on selling Zinchenko, and I plan on buying Luke Shaw. Let me zoom out so it gives me the... Never mind. And selling Martinelli and going and buying Bruno Fernandes for the double in game week 29. And then in game week 30, I will sell Ivan Toney and I will go and buy Erling Haaland back. That's the plan at the moment. That is the plan at the moment with this team. So, bit of a hokey-cokey with Haaland for a couple of weeks where he has blank and then Liverpool and going and buying the likes of Ollie Watkins who has Bournemouth and then a double. So, that's the plan. I know I don't have Ben Mee in. No Ben Mee in this one, unfortunately. Why Martinelli over Odegaard? So, positioning without Nketiah in the team. You have Odegaard in there as 8. You have Martinelli in there as 11. His positioning when Nketiah doesn't play is really good. So if you look at 0.86 XG, I think Odegaard's XG might 0.6 shots on target. Like Odegaard scored with his only shot as well, which is not like I mean, it's good finishing, but it's not necessarily what you want. But shots on target, he had 2. I'm taking the punt on him. He's also a very form player, Martinelli. So when he's in form, and obviously Arteta likes him when he's in this vein. So yeah, I'm quite happy going with Martinelli in there. It's a bit of a punt. Maybe it'll end up going horribly wrong for me today, maybe, but why sell Shaw if you're going to bench boost at Gameweek 29? So the thing with Shaw is he has Liverpool this week, where I don't expect a clean sheet. He doesn't play in Gameweek 28. So basically, I expect maybe 1 clean sheet in the next 3, whereas I've got, for example, Zinchenko in his place, who I'm quite happy with. And I'm not even sure, like, with Shaw next week, it's not that easy to actually start him, because you've got double for Henry, you've got double for Estupiñán, and then you've got Trippier with Wolves at home. If I had Shaw in place of either Zinchenko or Botman, I'd be benching either Shaw or Trippier next week anyway, with the doubles that you've got further forward as well. So I'm already benching Martinelli next week, so it's already enough. Is minutes a concern for Martinelli versus Odegaard? In Game Week 28, yes, when Gabriel Jesus is likely to be back. But for today, no. For today, no. Why Botman over Shah? I just have the money to save the money further down the line. And that's the reason I've got Henry and I've got Botman. It's just that saves me $1 million. Which you guys have the money now. I have the money now, but that's not the point. I need the money later on. So, is Maddison worth the punt? I like Maddison. I don't necessarily have a place for him in my team at the moment, but I do like Maddison. Yeah. Estupiñán, White, Tarkowski defence. Saka, Odegaard, Matoma, Rashford midfield. That's quite nice, Isaac. If you're on Wildcard, I wouldn't own Tarkowski, but if you're not on Wildcard, I don't think there's an issue starting him this week. Harry, you reckon Kane as a captain? I'm on Bukayo Saka as my captain just because Bournemouth are really poor, as we all know, but they're also very poor down the side that Saka plays on. They're particularly poor down the other side. Botman instead of Trippier. No, I wouldn't want to drop Trippier. Yeah, so that person on Instagram has said they're likely to get Man City team news. So do stick around until close to the deadline so we can have a look at that team news together. Cool, Martinelli over Odegaard. Again, it's just a positioning thing. Since he started playing with Trossard there, past 2 games, why am I scrolling? He's done really, really well. He scored the winner against Leicester and then, of course, hauled against Everton. And it doesn't necessarily look like we're going to get a start from Nketiah today either. So this super chat is a very valuable question and might be relevant to other people in the chat as well. You've just made 7 transfers and accidentally confirmed without playing my wildcard. If I play my wildcard now, can I save the points deduction? Yes. If you wildcard, as long as your wildcard is active come the deadline, it does not matter. It will cancel out all the points hits that you have taken. You can also make more transfers. So I've activated my wildcard, but I can make more changes now if I wanted to. You can make as many transfers as long as your wildcard is active by the time the deadline comes. So go and make another transfer and click activate wildcard and it will cancel out all those points hits. How to save money on the same wildcard team? I mean, you could drop Kane and go like Watkins, for example, or drop Haaland if you're brave enough, but I don't think I'd do that. You could drop Martinelli down, but there's not that much place you could go to. Like, you could drop Martinelli to another Brighton midfielder and go triple Brighton mids, and then put Luke Shaw in your defence, for example, that would also save you a bit of money as well. I'll have 10 players for Game Week 28, yeah, which I think is an absolutely fine position to be in because it sets me up nice for the future weeks as well. Is Ben Chilwell worth a punt? If I was buying a Chelsea defender, it would be Ben Chilwell, but I don't want to go there just because there is rotation there. There is a chance that if it's Champions League, for example, which we have midweek, that Cucurella starts and Chilwell's rested, for example. I mean, looks like we're going to crash out of the Champions League, given that we can't score any goals. But just for the next two, I'd be a bit worried. So I don't think I would do that personally. Thoughts on Veltman as a Brighton defender? He's the most nailed while Lallana is out. Yeah, but just the attacking threat of what Stupinan offers is there. And it's the only... If I was going to not have a Stupinan, I'd have Sanchez in goal. Because if anyone saw my post on Twitter, the rotation between Kepa and Sanchez is so nice. The only reason I don't have it is because Raya is a better goalkeeper than Sanchez to own, but Stupinan is so good. Yeah, if Ivan Toney picks up a yellow card on Monday night, he is then one yellow card away from suspension, which if he gets, it's just a bit of a nightmare, really, to be honest. But there's not much we've got to do about that. I'm just taking the risk. I'm just not taking the risk. No, I am taking the risk, and if it comes horribly wrong, then I'll have to sell him. But we need guaranteed Arsenal starters for Game Week 28. Am I not worried about Martinelli could be benched? Yeah, a little bit, and the chatter seemed to be convincing me otherwise. But Odegaard's returns, right? Let me look at Odegaard's returns. If we take since the restart, right? He did really well in 17-18 and everyone went and bought him. Since then, those returns are not great. Those returns are not great. If I'm completely honest. So I mean, Martinelli's are not great either, don't get me wrong there. But him playing without Nketiah, I really like. He obviously doesn't like Martinelli when he plays with Nketiah and gets isolated on the wing. But if he plays on... if he plays with Jesus or plays with Trossard, he becomes a really good asset. Add music. Would you guys in the chat like a little bit of background music? I got in trouble this week. Not in trouble, but the intro music you have to source in the comments, which it is sourced, but I was sourcing it wrong for a while. And I basically had to go and change all my streams for the previous 2 years where I've used it as an intro, so it's sourced correctly. But I know some people have background music with their streams, but I used to have it, and then I used to have it on videos, and then no. Okay, with Estupinan, Tarkowski, White, Rashford, Saka, Odegaard, Matoma, would I start Salah or Trent? I'd probably start Salah because I expect both teams to score. No music. Okay. On your wildcard, you have Zinchenko, Estupinan, Trippier, me, Raya, Ward, and Dean in defence. Okay, I wouldn't go Luca Dean necessarily, but you already have triple Brentford and Brighton. I can change Dean, but prefer not double Newcastle. But I wouldn't own Luca Dean, I don't think. Personally, I think I'd go double Newcastle just because they're going to double later on as well. And you'll be happy to have that when that time comes around. So, oh. Captaincy. Let me do a poll. My captaincy is currently on Bukayo Saka. I did put one out on YouTube last night, which I can get the results up for. Saka, Haaland, or other. I just feel like I'm getting captaincy wrong at the moment, and it's annoying me a little bit, but... Let's see what you have all got to say. Why not Maddison this game week? Maddison this game week works, right? I could not have Martinelli and I could go Maddison. But I just think Arsenal against Bournemouth. A lot of you asking why not Maddison. But I don't know. He doesn't fit anywhere else apart from in this slot. He doesn't fit anywhere else apart from in that slot. So... I just think Arsenal are going to do well against Bournemouth today. So, thoughts on Wildcard 33, Bench Boost 34, Free Hit 37. So I spoke a little bit about this in one of my videos this week. It's a fine strategy, but if I look at Ben Krellin's spreadsheet, right? The 34 teams that we're going to want, Brighton, right? Manchester United, particularly those two. And then they double in 37 again, Brighton, Manchester United. People wildcarding this week will have triple ups on both of those by the time you wildcard them in game week 34. You might also go Man City, right? But you're going to have to try and predict an extra slot when most people on wildcard this week will have 2 Man City there anyway. It basically is the upside for me later on is not good enough to save the wildcard. The upside is normally there because there's normally lots of doubles with different teams doubling to what would double in 29, right? So, 10 teams would double in 29 and it would be a completely different 10 that double in 34. And that's why a late wildcard is good because you can use your transfers for the first one, save it, wildcard into the second set of doubles, right? That's why it works. But when you've got such similar teams doubling across them, it doesn't work so much. Why Botman over Burn? There's not that much to choose between them, to be honest. Maybe Burn has slightly more goal threat. Botman's slightly better for bonus points. There really isn't much to choose between them. We are 135 subscribers away from 47,000. I'm sure there's 135 of you watching who are not subscribed. And there's over 1,500 of you in here who haven't liked the stream as well. March over Tony? No. I do worry about having March on my bench, but... So, Matoma is the eye test pick. March is the stats pick. And McAllister is the set piece pick. That's basically why people are picking these three. That if you ask why Matoma, people say, if you watch Brighton play, he looks so good. If they've got March in their team, they'll say, oh, have you looked at the stats? March is so good. And if they've got McAllister, they'll say, yeah, he's on set pieces, he's on penalties, right? It's an argument for all three of them. And I'm more of an eye test manager than the others. McAllister's set pieces are great, right? But he doesn't have the open play goal threat that I'd want from someone, to be honest. Captaincy on Bukayo Saka. Do have a lot of investment on that Arsenal-Bournemouth game, though. Ward-Prowse over Matoma for 27. No. He's back playing a little bit deeper. So if we have a look at Ward-Prowse, returns are okay. Like, he did well against Chelsea, but they've not been great. They've not been great really recently. So, yeah, I'm not backing the Ward-Prowse. Would I start Ake or Trippier? I'd start Ake if we get news. I did submit my request. The person on Instagram was asking, like, what 2 players would we want? I put Ake and Mahrez are probably the most two popular picks that people will want to know. You can submit your picks on his Instagram as well. Why not a Villa defender over Botman? So I have answered this one. The like button, if you're on phone, you'll need to minimize the chat, and then it's just below the chat. Ooh. Yeah, you'll need to minimize the chat, and then it's just below the chat if you're on phone, because it looks like this, because you have the live chat, and then when you minimize the chat, the like button is there. There you go. Talk about Saka, Haaland, captaincy debate. Yeah, so 74 of you are on Saka. Haaland is playing Newcastle. It is at home. It is the early kickoff, and we know what we think about the early kickoff, right? Haaland's a great captaincy pick. Don't get me wrong. It is potentially a difficult fixture, and I think Newcastle with Bruno Guimaraes back have the ability to frustrate Manchester City a little bit. Saka, obviously in a great run of form at the moment. Saka obviously in a great run of form at the moment. He's playing on the right-hand side up against a Bournemouth side who concede a lot of chances from their left-hand side. So if you have a look at here, I mean, if you have a look, so it was Foden, Haaland, Alvarez, right? That basically did well for Manchester City. If we get the average positions up, I really hope this backs up my theory. You don't see Grealish on there, who plays right wing for them. Oh, that's the cup. Oh no, I don't want to share lineups. I want to... Manchester City, right? Phil Foden, Julian Alvarez, right? The two that have done well are the two playing on the right-hand side. It's not Grealish does drop deep, right? But it's not Grealish, it's not that side. It's Foden and it's Alvarez, the two playing far right against that weak Bournemouth side. Which is why I think Saka will do well again. Now, it doesn't mean that Odegaard is maybe a better pick than Martinelli. Martinelli playing on that right-hand side. Potentially. Now I'm making me doubt myself that I've actually got Arsenal's left winger in my team as well. But would I start Salah over any of Saka, Odegaard, Rashford, Matoma? No. Who would I do? Evans, thank you for doing your membership. Who would I pick for Nketiah? Tony or Watkins? Tony or Ollie Watkins? I'd probably go Tony. Brandon, thank you for the super chat. You didn't leave a question, so leave your question in the chat, and I will answer it. And I will answer it once you leave it in there. One of the questions I get a lot is, how do I join as a member? When you go on my channel, there is this join button here, which if you click that, you'll get a nice little blurb from me. You have the 2 tiers there as well. We have base tier, which gets you all the in-stream and video stuff, and then you have the other tier, the top tier, which gets you sort of access to DMing me and asking me questions all throughout the week as well. So -4 to sell Mahrez. Let's wait. We should get Manchester City team news closer to the deadline. What time is it? Yeah, we should get it closer to the deadline. So then that will probably make your decision on whether you should be selling Mahrez for a -4. When am I going to free hit? Free hit will probably fall in 32 or 34, depending on what the blank looks like in 32. If 32 comes around and Manchester City, Brighton. So the reason 32 is popular. So you have Manchester City, Brighton, where all of us have Manchester City in Haaland and triple Brighton in there as well, right? Manchester United, Chelsea, all of us will have triple United in there as well. So everyone's going to have well, a lot of us are going to have 6 or 7 players from this game. We will also not have much Arsenal at home to Southampton. And we will also not have much Liverpool at home to Nottingham Forest. So free hit, 32 works really well. If either of these fixtures get added in and we don't need to use it that week, 34, where the double is likely to fall, is likely to be where we play it instead. Why Henry over Ben Mee? I just saved the money. I've got a lot of money in the bank now, but later down the line, I will... later down the line, I'll want that money for other things. Tottenham defender over Botman short term. Botman. Spurs defender, no, because you don't actually need them next week, which is when you'd want to play them, because they're doubles. My first ever gifted sub from Flying, the Flying Nagger. Thank you very much for gifted sub. And Jesse Dolby, congratulations. I don't know if it's, imagine it's a base tier. But thank you very much, and congratulations, Jesse, on winning a membership from the Flying. Luke, I missed your super chat. What did it say? Sorry. Oh, Sanchez me over Raya Superman gives extra games. It does, but the attacking threat of a Stupinan is not something I particularly want to give up on. And going forward, Raya is the better goalkeeper combination. Better goalkeeper. If you're going to own Brighton, you need attacking threat there, I think is where I'm at with it. Can I gift subs? That would be exciting. Can you follow my plan if you used your free hit? I mean, in theory, not, because there'll be 1 week where I play my free hit. But if you just accept a poor week that week, then yeah. Those of you still with triple captaincy, good question. It should be used in... It should be used in game week 34 probably, because Manchester City are likely to double in game week 34. Manchester City are likely to double in game week 34. Not gifted sub, gifted membership. A gifted membership. So there are memberships on this channel, of course, as you can see with the people who have their names highlighted, and you now have the ability on YouTube to basically gift them. So yeah, you pay for one and someone else will very kindly get it. Why Martinelli? His positioning without Nketiah in the team is very nice. Ivan Toney leaks. We don't have anything on Ivan Toney. I think he should be fine, but I haven't seen anything on Ivan Toney. I don't think. We are less than 100 subscribers away as well from 47,000. You want a gifted membership? Well, I don't know if I can. I'm going to end the captaincy poll as well. Pretty much all, well, 75. Brandon, I missed your super chat. Sorry, I'm not having a good day. Haaland to Watkins, Rashford to Salah. Liverpool have Bournemouth next week. I wouldn't go selling Rashford because Rashford has Southampton next week. Yeah, and Rashford's the better asset. So no, I wouldn't do those. I wouldn't do those two moves. I mean, I have Haaland and Rashford in my wildcard, and I don't have Watkins and Salah, so... I don't have Watkins and Salah, so... Gabriel or Zinchenko. So I'm on Zinchenko at the moment, but the chat is making me feel a little bit nervous on it. Above average FPL, thank you guys for the super chat. I hope you guys are well. I hope you're enjoying your final tinkering as well. Hi Harry, benching headache like many. Salah or Felix to bench. Bench Felix. Just bench all your Chelsea players. The only reason I'm not benching Kepa is because I don't really want double Brentford defence. Don't really want double Brentford defence. Matt Hubbard, thank you very much for the super chat. Feeling rich. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend to you as well. And good luck to everyone who is wildcarding or not wildcarding this game week. This is my final team. I'm starting to get a little bit cold feet on some of the Arsenal players. But I do think this is likely to be my final team. Do think it's likely to be my final team. For those of you asking again on why Martinelli, let me go. So, if you look at the game against Everton and look at average positions, right? That is Martinelli there, number 11. Look how far forward he plays when there's no Nketiah in the team, and it's Nketiah, Trossard. Even against Leicester as well. It's less so, but he's still like... It's less that game, to be fair, and Odegaard is very central. Let's have a look at the stats. Stats per player, lineups. Gabriel Martinelli had 0.21 XG. Martin Odegaard had 0.15 XG with no shots, 1 off target. And 1 shot, 1 off target. 1 on, 1 off. So I just quite like that. It's a short-term punt. He's in good form. We all know what Martinelli's like when he gets in form, right? There is going to be high ownership on Odegaard still, though. There is going to be high ownership on Odegaard still. For those of you who are just joining, plans to wildcard. Yes, the wildcard is active. This is my current draft. So, yeah, we are looking pretty happy with how... Yeah, here's how my wildcard is lining up at the moment. If I bring in Kepa for Ward, you're going to have to do Saka to Bruno later on. Is it worth it? Kepa for Ward. Probably not worth it then. If that's what means you can't afford Martinelli to him, then I would wait. Maddison is in the squad, yeah, but I don't have a way to fit him in unless I go with him over Martinelli. Is it fine if you're still not using a wild card? Yeah. If your team looks good enough for this week, then yeah, it's fine. Then yeah, it is fine. Tempted by Gabriel, I am. Gabriel Odegaard would just be boring, right? It would be the safe routes. Bear in mind, everyone, that we are likely to get early Manchester City team news, and we are also likely, with the amount of wildcards, to have the servers crash in the build-up to the deadline, right? So please do not leave final changes to your teams right up until the deadline. Please don't. Chances of the site crashing feels quite high today. How bad will Game Week 32 be without free hit? It depends how many Brighton, Manchester City, Manchester United assets you have, basically. I'm likely to have 7 outfield players from those. So 7 of my 13 outfield players not playing. That's if the cup games go as we plan. Any alternative keeper for Kepa to fund Fernandes? You can just go Kepa down to Ward. Somnath, thank you very much for the super chat. Love your content. Keep up the great work. No questions at all, at least for now. Appreciate it. Thank you all so much for the support as well. Gabriel with high upside goal threat. Martinelli can be explosive, but like I don't even need to go on SofaScore. I can look at XG. To be fair, he has not very much. Well, over 3 games, Zinchenko has amassed, like, Zinchenko's expected goals and assists is not that bad for a defender. That's what, 0.4, 0.5. Is there a big blank incoming? So to be honest, there's not going to be a massive blank this season. Gameweek 28 is going to be a blank. So there'll be blank fixtures for Brighton, Fulham, Liverpool, Man City, Manchester United and West Ham in Gameweek 28. And then predicted blanks in 32 are Manchester City, Brighton, Manchester United and Chelsea. But that's not confirmed yet. Like his expected goal involvement, it's not that high, but of course he could just get on the end of something. He scored twice here against Chelsea and against Fulham, but that goal against Chelsea wasn't even a header. Yeah, I think I'm gonna chance on Zinchenko. Zinchenko just not going to play in 28, is it? Do I go rogue? What's wrong with Saliba? Do I just punt on Saliba? What's his underlying numbers like? Equally rubbish. The issue is game week. So if I get the Arsenal fixtures up and I can explain what's going through my head. So this Palace game is on the 19th, which I believe must be a Sunday. Reece James unavailable for today's game. Reece James unavailable for today's game for anyone with him on Wildcard. Please sell him. Can't decide whether to wildcard. Feel like I'm doing it for the sake of it. It's true, but the big thing with wildcard this week is 33 wildcard where it would normally fall. There's less sort of upside. I'm definitely not going Ben White because with this... Sorry, yeah, where was I? So this is... They play today, then they play Thursday. Sunday, Thursday, Sunday. Is Tierney going to get a start in one of these? Is it worth the risk? Is it worth the risk? There's this guy in the chat called Liam who's basically been just paying me compliments for the past hour. Why are you so incredibly handsome, Harry? What is the secret? And he was asking me for my skincare routine earlier. He's not here for my wild card. I've just seen these comments coming in. Why no McAllister? So as I said, McAllister is there if you want set pieces, but his open play threat is not as good as March and Matoma. So that's what I'm going with. How am I going to get Bruno and Shaw in the future? So Martinelli, I've got 5 million in the bank. So Martinelli to Fernandes and Zinchenko to Shaw. Wildcard is active, yeah. Maybe I should leave my team with wildcard active on the screen. There we go. Play Shaw. You also have March. I wouldn't hate playing Shaw, but if I had him, let's say he was in there over Botman, I wouldn't start him. Liam just asked the question. Harry will answer you, especially. Yeah, true. No, why so hot today, Harry? Tomiyasu comes on for Ben White. No, not necessarily, but if there's a lot of games, you do run that risk. So if you're on wildcard, definitely don't own Ben White. Like could easily be yeah, could easily Tomiyasu could easily start one of those games. I want to start Kepa to have a Chelsea asset, but it feels way more shaky than starting Raya. You have Zinchenko, Davies, or Stupinan. If you don't have a Brentford defender, I'd probably start Raya, but a lot of us have the Brentford defenders, which is why we don't want to double up. If I didn't have Henry in here, I'd start Raya. Why trust Kepa without Thiago Silva over Raya in goal? So the thing is with Chelsea, yes, without Thiago Silva, it does make us weaker. The only thing with it is the last game, just throwing a new centre-back pairing into a game is never good. Particularly when I don't think Fofana Koulibaly as a back two has ever played together before, right? That was never going to end well. So they have had a week to work on it. I expect it to be Fofana and Badiashile. And it may even be Chalobah at right back as well now without... Yeah, it might even be Chalobah at right back without Reece James. Sorry, I just froze. Henry over me. I need to write these down. Henry over me because I need the money later down the line. I'm not worried about Tony Ban a little bit, but I'm just going to own him for the short term. How much does my team have in the bank? So I have, when I make it, 5.6 million. Am I going to get Maddison? So if I had Maddison here, right? It means I have to sell Saka to get Fernandes. It means I have to sell Saka to get Fernandes when Gameweek 29 rolls around. Now, he does have some difficult games in there, but if Arsenal are going to score, you kind of expect Saka to be in on it. You'd kind of expect Saka to be in on it. So, I don't think so. With Europa League in between, are you going to go Gabriel and Odegaard? Plus, I had them in 25, so I should beat myself up more if they scored. Yeah, you're not wrong there, to be honest. Maybe I should go Ben White, but that's not going to happen. Start March. I'm on Matoma over March, but it's you're calling 50-50, to be honest. You're calling a 50-50 there, to be honest. We have 45 minutes to the deadline. Maybe I should lock my team in. Oscar Focal has gone Maddison. And he started March. And he's going to bench boost next week. But surely the Maddison move doesn't work if you're bench boosting next week because he's got Chelsea. My thoughts anyway. We are 24 subscribers away from 47,000. There must be 24 of you who haven't liked or subscribed. Why Botman over Castagna? It's an interesting point, and I get it. Just Leicester can't defend to start with, and Botman and Newcastle are likely to have a double in Game Week 31 is the prediction. Has he got any bonus? Why am I going with him over Dan Burn? He scored 1, 2, 3 bonus points all season. And what's his expected goals like? He has exactly 1 expected goal and 1 expected assist this season. .2, 0.4. There's basically nothing to pick between them, right? Bonus. He did pick up a random 3 bonus. Did he get a return in that game? No. I mean, Botman versus Burn is the most 50-50 call I think I've ever seen. Shah should be fit. Shah should be fine. So you could go Shah, but I think I need the money further down the line. I think I need the money. Which is why I don't have Shah. If I could, I'd go Shah, right? His expected goals is much better. His expected assists is much better as well. He does take some less free kicks now that there is trips in the team, of course, but City news, we don't have anything yet. We have no City team news yet. Um, 3.6 million enough for my wildcard. I don't know if it allows the future moves. It probably does. It probably does. Captain Odegaard. João Felix. Captain Odegaard, I wouldn't. I'd be on Saka. Captain Gabriel, maybe. I mean, it's not awful because they should... you'd expect them to keep a clean sheet, which is why all of us are owning them. We have hit. Oh, it makes my green logo go see-through. Thank you all so much for 47,000 subscribers. What a way to... Wildcard, 47,000 subscribers. What a day. But I will load when I drop Haaland for a couple of weeks, mate. Yeah, but then I'm going to have to buy him back. Like, I need that money. I need that money. How much do I need for my future moves? It's a good question. If I start like this... So I have 6.5 and I do Fernandes. And then I do Zinchenko to Shaw. Plus I'll need an extra 0.2 when I buy Haaland back. So how much did I have? So I've got 2.1 there. 5.6. So that is 3.5. So you need 3.7, I think, in the bank. Unless price rises go your way. Which they could. Shaw could easily fall in price. So maybe you don't need as much as 3.7. Yeah, Shaw's predicted to fall. Like you might get a double rise out of Martinelli, for example. Haaland might fall as well. It's actually predicted to go up in price. Interesting. Luke, how are we doing? Me over Henry for goal threat in double game with the extra 0.5. The extra 0.5 because I'm only starting him in a couple of games. Basically only starting him in the doubles. And they do have difficult games, so could go Pinnock. If you want to save the money but you want the sort of big goal threat, then go Pinnock. But yeah. Maddison over Mitoma. It's just the extra fixture that Brighton have in there. Is basically it. When I was talking about needing money down the line, what are my plans? So yeah, so Martinelli to Bruno Fernandes is basically the big one that I need to save the money for. You don't need... you need about 3.5 million in the bank. So make sure your team's got enough money basically to do Martinelli up to Fernandes. Your teams might have more money in the bank if you have Odegaard in here. They will have less in the bank, like 500,000 less, but I might end up doing that. Am I worried about having too many playing defenders with striped jerseys? I've got a lot of players with striped jerseys. Probably the most I've ever had. We don't have City news yet. I'm expecting it closer to quarter to 11. Quarter to 11 is what I'm expecting it. When I'm expecting it. Start Shaw, Trippier, probably Shaw. Yeah, I could do Saka to Bruno but I've got a lot of value tied up in Saka now. And I'm not sure... I could sell Saka, but there are good fixtures in here that I'll want Saka for. If I don't free hit 32, then... I could, you bench Maddison next week, of course, when he plays Chelsea. But it's just having one Arsenal attacker. I suppose I am captaining him against Bournemouth, but just easily Maddison could hobble off. He wasn't injured though, was he? He was ill. He was ill, wasn't he? It's not an injury, is it? It's illness. Illness. Any cheap option to save money? Yeah, like just go Kepa to Danny Ward if you need to save money. Am I getting Maddison for his double? Palace away, Villa at home. You guys are getting in my head now. Any thoughts of bringing in Emerson Royale? No, they don't double in 29. I think his return to being quite a flash in the pan, to be honest. Would I get Maddison for 29 or only brought Shaw Bruno? This is true. I am missing out on, if I don't get him, Palace away, Villa at home, Bournemouth at home. Does just have not a great injury record, does he? Sorry if this has already been spoken about, but why Henry over me? It just saves a little bit of money. Just saves a little bit of money. Jesse, you got your gifted membership. Maddison is worth considering later down the line. Yeah, Maddison over March. You have lots of money in the bank. Yeah, I mean, in theory. But I want March for the double next week. And I have to bench someone this week anyway, right? Maddison has entered the building. Southampton away, Brentford, double, Bournemouth. Bench them next week. It was the Flying Ninja who gave you a super chat, a membership. What happened to Sanchez over Raya yesterday? It was Stupiñán's confirmed fit, so I've gone with him because the attacking threat for him is better than all the other defenders. Maddison has come in. It's not impossible that he leaves again before the deadline. Watkins or Haaland on Wildcard. Well, I've got Haaland, so Martinelli or Odegaard. I had Martinelli in first. Maddison is too hard fixture. This is... Southampton away is not necessarily a difficult fixture. Does mean I have to sell Saka. Well, I could sell Maddison for him, right? Could sell Maddison to Fernandes. Maddison is fit. Yeah, he's been pictured in training all week. You can't pick Maddison over Odegaard with this week's fixture. What else have we got up here? Points per match, 5.8. Odegaard, 5.9. 5.6. Like, they're all the same. Don't overthink your plan. Arsenal are the best team and assets. Gabriel on corners. Oh no, people aren't happy. Why two Newcastle defenders? View the XG. The only thing is the XG is total, it's not per game. Like, it's total. 16 starts to 3.8 to 6.7 expected goal involvement. 16 starts. 24 starts. It is better for Martinelli, but if I can't buy Shaw in 29, is Dallo Varane enough? I'm not sure Dalot will be nailed. You'd probably want to go for Varane there. Inform team versus Maddison. Yeah, you're probably... So, Maddison, probably the worst fixture this week. Probably a worse fixture in this one as well. But then he does double nicely. But I could buy him that week anyway. Bro is stressing. You haven't been to one of my streams before. This is the first time you see me stressing. It's a weekly occurrence. Maddison has a good scoring record against Southampton. Harvey Barnes, Harry. Harvey Barnes. Yeah, no thanks. It's not a James Maddison. I mean, he is cheaper, right? But $1.5 million cheaper, but no. João Felix instead of Haaland worth the risk till 30. Nope. You might want to make the switch in game week 28, but I wouldn't be making the switch now. How well are Bruno and Shaw if you've got Maddison for Odegaard? I'd have to sell Saka. I'd have to sell Saka and go with no Arsenal. You should swap Odegaard for Maddison in game week 29. That's your plan. Like, I could just take a -4 in 29 and go, if I had, and do Martinelli out, Saka out, and Zinchenko out, and go Maddison, Shaw, and Fernandes. Ramsdale in goal. He doesn't double. Raptors wobbling off Maddison. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. What am I doing if the servers crash before you lock in? Oh yeah, that's true. I'm going back to what I wanted. I'm going back. I know I shouldn't be making transfers back and forth, but... team news, we don't have... let me check if he's tweeted anything. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Nothing on the old Instagram as well. Nothing there yet. I've gone back. I've gone back to it. I bottled Maddison. I bottled it. Saka is locked in captain, yeah. I've gone back. Cheap alternatives other than Ward. You just go Ward. Like, they have a good double in 29. They have a good double in 29. If I do Maddison now, why not bot to White and now get Botman in 29? Because I need... Well, Botman does play. Botman plays in 29. White over Botman doesn't necessarily benefit me that much, to be honest. I think we're going to roll like this. Zinchenko's my only worry with the... I don't think I have a problem with him starting today. Arsenal fixtures, here we go. It's just this turnaround. If they need a result away at Sporting in the Cup, maybe he'll still play Tierney in that. Maybe he'll still play Tierney in that. 1,000? 2,700 of you watching. Good morning. Welcome everyone. New, old. Thank you all. Oh, here we go. Make sure you're liked. Make sure you've subscribed as well. Thank you all for 47,000 subscribers as well this morning. Thanks, Connor. My hair looks amazing. So where are we? So that is City potential team news. That is City potential team news coming in at some point. I have his Instagram open and it is not there yet. So bear in mind that is going to come soon and we will be here to report live on it for you. Good morning from a Barnsley fan. Good morning to you. Why no Shaw in your squad? Because he plays Liverpool this week and blanks in a few weeks as well. Majid, why not Shaw? Just because I think I need the money further down the line. Does Wildcard count as one free transfer this week? If you Wildcard next week, you'll only have one free transfer next week. Good evening from Melbourne. Estupiñán, minutes risk and 2 Australia games before Gameweek 29. What country does Estupiñán play for? Does he play for Australia? No. Doesn't. That's what I was saying. Just let me check. Oh, they're both against Australia. On the 28th of March. Hang on. 28th of March. 30 days of September. April. So, 28th. So, we'll have the 29th, 30th, 31st. So, 1st of April is a Saturday. So, Saturday, Friday. So, he plays on Tuesday evening in Australia. Hang on. And we're expecting him to play when? He's playing Tuesday evening or Tuesday morning in Australia and then is playing Saturday lunchtime in England. That fills me with a little bit of doubt on Estupiñán playing both in the double. Math is hard. No, someone in the chat said Australia. He's playing against Australia, right? In Australia, right? They're playing against Australia. Got my calendar out. Trippier ownership, not really, because I think City will score. Oda goals incoming today. Your little boy Charlie would like to say, hey, hi, good morning, Charlie. Oh, am I going to go back to Odegaard? If Odegaard does something after I've held him for ages, right. Do I want Zinchenko or do I want... Who's played in Europe? Has Tierney played the games in Europe? I don't know how I'm going to find them. I want matches. What are we saying on Instagram? They normally release it 15 minutes before, which would be in 8 minutes' time. So we'll keep an eye on that. I don't think Martinelli is a minute's risk, to be honest, until game week 28, but... I'm going to just tweet that about Estupiñán. Give me... Let me just... Nick, thank you for joining as a top tier member. welcome to the channel. Just drop me a DM on Twitter and I will get you added to the group chat as soon as this stream ends. As soon as this stream ends, welcome. So again, keeping an eye on Man City team news. See if we get any. It looks like we are going to, but it will likely come at 1:45. So lock in your teams. Pinnock or Henry, who to get? I'm going Henry. I'm going Henry. Gabriel's more nailed on than Zinchenko. Yes, but I only need him for 2 games. It's only 2 games I need him for. Yes, we are going to get Man City team news. Mitoma, because Mahrez is on the bench today. We don't know that. Maddison or March, we're going to find out in a minute, though. Mitoma or Mahrez. Mitoma, but let's wait for the City team news. Oh, that bit about Stupiñán's a bit of a pain. But with Stupiñán news, should I go Sanchez Pinnock? I'm undecided. Give me 2 secs. Two seconds. Send via DM. Has he been rested before? Oh, the last international break wasn't ages ago, was it? I'm not going to know, am I? I don't know when the last one was. Anyway, let's get back to your questions. Why not Dunk? Just the attacking threat of a Stupiñán is really good. You might go Odegaard, Martinelli and Saka and put Shaw in defence. Yeah, but I don't know how it impacts your team in Gameweek 28, Jen. Just have a look at that. Is he called up for Ecuador during those games? Like Brazil called their youngsters only. If anyone can tell me. I don't actually know. I think I'm gonna keep it. I don't think I have time to check. If someone wants to check for me, one of the members, Sanchez plays for Australia. Yeah, that's also true. So going Sanchez doesn't necessarily help. They'll probably get a plane back together. There'll be plane watch all over that international break for those guys coming back. Oh, they've all got the international break. Like Mitoma as well. Right. I'm just going to... We have nothing yet. Please can I explain why Henry is the defender choice over Pinnock? So if you look at stats from the start of the season, Pinnock is better. But if you have a look at stats since the restart, Henry comes out on top as a better option. I can show you quickly. How long have we got? 3 minutes until City news. Okay. So Henry, 0.6 in there and 0.39 in there. Like the numbers are just really poor for him. He had a chance in one of them. The only thing with Henry is, were they playing a back 3 in the game that he got good stats? Southampton at home, Leeds away. No, wait. Arsenal and Southampton. Did they play a back 5 in those games? Because Henry is better when they play a back 5. And they play it normally against top sides. Like I'm pretty sure they would have played it against Arsenal. Yeah, back 5. So he gets more attacking threat. Did they play it against Southampton. Was this the other game that he did well in? Yeah, Southampton. No, he played a back four, but he only got good numbers in that game because they play a back five, and I don't think they're going to play back. When are they going to play a back five? They might in 29, to be fair. They might in 29. I'm going to keep it. I think I'm going to lock it in. Gabriel Zinchenko is the only thing left, but I think I'm going Zinchenko. He's so good for that Arsenal team. And the 28 fixture against Palace is not an easy game, and I think Arteta will know that. This is it, I think. And the servers might crash, so please do check your teams. We're about to get City team news, and the servers may not last much longer after that. Wait, how do I watch it? Wait, that was Mahrez not starting. Mahrez not starting. He's only done Mahrez, but Mahrez isn't starting. Happy I wildcarded. Why not Martinelli? Just that game week 28, you guys have scared me. Game week 28, when Jesus is likely to be back. You're likely to have Jesus back, which means Trossard, Martinelli will be fighting it out on the left-hand side. And that has just come after a Europa League game on the Thursday night, which could be a really big game for them. So I think there's just... feel like there's too much doubt in my mind. Yeah, so I think this is going to be it. We're about to save wildcard for 27. It's not, if your team looks fine for this week, you can save it, but you don't gain that much by saving it. Right, I'm going to do what my gut said. And this was what my gut said. No. Am I? He has done a Mahrez one. I've watched Mahrez. I've watched this Mahrez one. I've watched the Mahrez one. Oh, the video I saw didn't upload fully. I'm melting. Odegaard nailed for further down the line. Learn from last few weeks on Martinelli. Use phone, he's posted. What, has he posted more? I've watched this. Yeah, Mahrez. Mahrez isn't starting, we know that. Team Odegaard, come on Arsenal. Odegaard or Martinelli. Yeah, the app might not last very long. Odegaard or Marte. We've got 12 minutes. If you haven't already, please do not forget to like the stream and subscribe if you have not already. Why Matoma over McAllister? Just McAllister relies so much on set pieces. McAllister relies so much on set pieces, which is why I haven't gone with him. Stay with Odegaard. Get Martinelli. He's the fun pick. Why Martinelli over Odegaard? Martinelli, Odegaard. Why Saka captain? Odegaard. You wanted Martinelli, now go for it. Yeah, I just worried he doesn't start in 28. Just worried he doesn't start in 28. Would I bench Felix or Matoma? I'd bench Felix. Martinelli's confidence is back. Legendary Saving got me to Wildcard. Thanks to the new fan here. No worries. Let me put a poll. I can't tell what's going on. So play according to your rank, but I've no idea. Like, he was so highly owned, right? Transfers in. Martinelli's like right up there. Mass transfers in. Odegaard is transferred out as well. Martinelli is getting the captain. Oh, Darren, you start Estupiñán or me. I'd start Estupiñán. It's carnage. Odegaard is safer. Martinelli, app has crashed. Oh, well, I might even not get a choice about what I do. Still okay here. It's so close as well, the poll. It's like 50-50 between you all. I hope you're all enjoying the live meltdown. You were calm. Why are you panicking? Because I don't know if I want Odegaard, who I've owned for a while, or I go back. Because I feel like if I go back and then I've gone Martinelli into Odegaard, back to Martinelli, you just know it's going to go horribly wrong. Odegaard more points per game. OD for minutes. But like, if Nketiah's not going to play today, like Martinelli's going to play. Martinelli plays better than Saka with Jesus. It's so close. It's so close. The final decision that needs to be made. Final decision. So what are you all saying? So Martinelli's just winning the poll, but he's in form. Martinelli lock. Martinelli minutes risk for sure. You actually, there's such a polarizing pick. No way. Andy is hiding his wild card again. Oh wait, he's posted the full one on Twitter. He's posted a longer one. Yeah, we know Mahrez. What about the others? Oh, is it just loads of pictures of Mahrez? Foden is starting. I mean, we knew that. We knew that, to be fair. As soon as we knew that was coming in. I think we're gonna go with Odegaard. Both Ross and Focal have gone Maddison. Both Ross and Focal have gone Maddison. Five minutes. Odegaard safer, don't gamble for the unguaranteed payout. But his points returned have not been amazing. When was the last time? He hasn't hauled since game week 18. I might go back to Maddison at this point. Maddison. Don't get FOMO. Double Arsenal attack, the better pick. I look worried. Yeah, it's because I am. No, I'm not going Maddison. I might take an extra hit to go Maddison later on, but I'm not going Maddison. I might add Maddison as a -4 in 29, but I don't think I'm going to do it this week. Top 5k, you've gone Odegaard instead of Martinelli. It's so close. How long do I have? 4 minutes. If I do Maddis, how am I going to get Bruno? Yeah, I'm not doing Maddison. Don't lose much. Saka score a single goal or assist. Calma. Yeah. I need a random wheel. I've gone against my gut too many times this season. We're done. We're done. Watch Odegaard score twice today. I'm going to go and put my house on it. But no Ben Me as it saves me money. We're locking this in. We're locking it in. Zinchenko, captain. No, not for me. Saka, captain. I've got so much on that Arsenal game. Why Matoma over March? Just because if March has been out, I just want the player who I feel like is slightly more nailed to start. Does Ake start? We don't know that. I think he does, but we don't know. Yes, Martinelli for the win. Maddison is a trap. I'm done. I'm done. You can say what you want. Just spun a wheel, said Martinelli 3 times in a row. Well, that's where we're going. This is where we're going. We have 3 minutes to the deadline. There are almost 4,000 of you watching. If you have not already, please, one final time, make sure you subscribed as well. And make sure you've liked. We're going to try and hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the season. So anything you can do during this stream would be much appreciated. Saying more news uploaded. No, we've seen this. We've seen this. Good luck. Good luck, everyone. You are ranked 2K. You know what to do better. I'm going with this. I'm trusting the gut, trusting it all. Why not triple Arsenal attack? Because I don't have anyone else I want to drop. We've seen this. I've seen it all. Yeah. Foden and Mahrez on the bench. Foden starts. March over Matoma. I'm going Matoma, but swings and roundabouts, eh? I'm not captaining Martinelli. Why Roy over Sanchez? Because I want Estupiñán. Any leaks on the City defence? No, we have none. Sam Uden, thank you for joining as a top tier member. Please drop me a DM on Twitter and I'll get you added to the group chat. Ward over Raya. Ward or Raya, I'd start Raya this week. We'll have 11 starters in game 28. No, I won't. I know I won't, but not that many people will. Why back to Odegaard? I haven't. I'm on Martinelli. I've gone Martinelli. Trusted my gut. And that is going to be the deadline, everyone. That is it. Teams should be locked in. Any new members to the top tier, please drop me a DM on Twitter and I'll get you added to the group chat straight after this stream. Wildcard is locked in. Hopefully you guys are all locked in as well. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for the likes, the subscribes. I wish you all the best of luck this week. I wish you all green arrows this week. And yeah, I appreciate all the support as well. Servers didn't crash. I know. What a shock. What a surprise. You've made me back to Martinelli instead of Odegaard. Great stream. Good luck. The Odegaard Martinelli is going to backfire, isn't it? But we are going to wrap up the stream there. If you haven't already, for one final time, please subscribe. I upload 3 times a week, plus do a 2-hour deadline stream minimum. So yeah, subscribe if you are interested in this sort of content, and like if you have not already. Good luck this week. DMs didn't work. My Twitter DMs should be open. If not, DM me on Instagram, Nick, because it will need to be a Twitter group chat. So my DMs on Twitter should be open. So send me a DM on Instagram or on Twitter, or just reply to one of my tweets. How to subscribe a top tier? You just go to YouTube and there is a join button here. And then there are 2 tiers. The top tier one, of course, gets you added to the Twitter group chat and answer your questions all throughout the week, as well as the base tier one there. Anyway, yeah, if you join them, send me a DM on Twitter and I'll get you added to the relevant group chats. Good luck in Game Week 26, everyone. And I'll be back again very soon.